Hello everyone and welcome to another Muffin video. Before we dive in here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell and drop a like on the video too if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to join our Discord server as well if you're not already there. The link is in the description down below. We've also activated our channel membership which comes with all kinds of perks, so check that out if you're interested in joining. And speaking of channel membership, I do want to take a moment to give a special shout out to our current members. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you're enjoying the benefits. And finally, a reminder that all comments on every video will be automatically entered into our weekly giveaways. Winners will be randomly selected every Monday. So good luck, and let's get this started. Alright, so it is time for us to take a dive into future content once again. We're going to be taking a look at the absolute most recently announced content in the Chinese version of the game, and the developers have just announced the class change 7 classes, and trust me, they all look epic. Now we've seen so far 3 of the classes. We've seen the Wayfarer, we've seen the Scholar, and we've seen the Swordbearer. I've made a video on each of those 3, so if you're interested in any of those classes, check those videos out. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Acolyte, which means that after the Acolyte, the only class left will be the Shadow Lash. But let's focus on the Acolyte today because it seems like out of all the classes we've seen so far, Acolyte could be the best so far. Now, the devs have always shown not a bias, but I would say a propensity to make the venerable healer slash DPS one of the better classes in the game, and certainly their DPS in many class changes is a rival for the top of the charts. From what I've read about their descriptions of this Class Change 7, it sounds, at least from the devs' own words, that this could be no exception in Class Change 7 because they use certain descriptors that the other Class Change 7 previews have not used at all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the screenshot of the visual style of the Class Change 7 Acolyte. So there you have it, the Class Change 7 Acolyte, which gives a it's just pretty awesome, I'll be honest. It is, as always, a holy slash divine type of feeling, yet you have these almost Buddha type arms surrounding the character made of light, and you can just get a sense of epicness. Now, the descriptions that they use are pretty interesting, so let's go ahead and take a look at what they have written for this class to see if we can decipher a little bit more about what we can expect. So, with divine power, darkness shall be judged. Equip the passive skill Longing for Wings and unlock the divine arm effect. This grants the ability to duplicate tactical skills, unleashing massive damage. So you know what I just said about it sounds like this class could be one of the better ones? In none of the other descriptions of the other classes did the devs use the word massive damage. And number 2, duplicating tactical skills. So this is interesting. So from what we can gather from this description, it seems that there is a passive skill that unlocks the divine arm effect, which grants you the ability to duplicate your tactical skills. So that sounds like a very, very powerful effect. And I hope we can find out a little more. Let's take a look at the next text descriptor that they have. Mythic Descender, Power of the Mind. This time, wield the authority of a higher existence. Casting the core skill Beautiful World grants Primordial Essence. New damage skills will scale with Primordial Essence stacks. Let's lead our enemies to a sweet finale. So here we have 2 different mechanics that are described in these 2 sections of text, which is interesting because all of the other classes we've seen so far, the Swordbearer, the Wayfarer, and the Scholar, seem to only center around a singular mechanic. But it seems here with the Class Chain 7 Acolyte, there are actually two mechanics going on. Number one is they're talking about the passive skill, which duplicates tactical skills and deals massive damage. The second is Primordial Essence, which is a stacking mechanic that your damage scales off of. So that is quite interesting, and I think it does kind of, to me at least, indicate that this class is going to be pretty intense. And if the developers themselves, in their description of the class in this tease, use the words massive damage, I don't think that's by accident. I think Acolyte is somehow made its way to be the quote-unquote preferred class of the developers because they either getting buffed like we saw recently in our global version, or they're getting some of the cooler visuals and some of the more interesting class mechanics. So let's take a look now at the actual video of the class and see if we can break down a little bit more and maybe get a better sense of what this class is going to be all about. So let's take a look at this now and see what this is all about. Okay, well, pretty cool outfit actually, first off. Wow. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty badass. Now, of all the classes we've seen so far, I have to say, this is pretty cool. It's like manipulation of light, manipulation of aura, and there was still this sort of duality. If you've played the Acolyte, you'll know a lot of the class changes have this sense of duality of holy aura plus sort of a more dark, maybe demonic or evil aura, and it's always a mixture of the two, and it seems like this is no different. There seems to be even a red aura attack, but it's mostly these... It's just really interesting, the visuals of this class, the particle effects being sort of more square and not necessarily just bursts of aura. I like some of the visuals here. The outfit's very cool though, compared to some of the previous ones. That laser looks epic. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, visually this class looks like a lot of fun, and I'd be very curious to see more information as we learn more about this class, exactly what they mean by duplicating tactical skills. I mean, we all understand the Primordial Essence type of ability where you stack this buff and get more damage from it. That's not a new concept. But the ability to duplicate your tactical skills? I wonder what the details are. Is it limited? Is it like all the time? Is it just doubling every time you use a tactical skill? The passive doubles it? Like, is it an RNG chance? Is it a chance to double every time you cast? I mean, these are all the questions that we have to answer about this class. But from what we can see, from what the devs have written, this to me seems like the most badass Class Chain 7 class so far, which is wild because this is supposed to be, okay, not supposed to be, but in theory this is our support role. This is our quote-unquote healer. And our quote-unquote healer is looking like it could be the most badass DPS of Class Chain 7. So all the rest of us DPS are sitting here like, oh, when's our try? Surely we're gonna have a try next to be the best DPS, right? It's not always gonna be Acolyte, right? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get my point. Anyway, this looks like a very cool class change. I have to say, if you're an Acolyte, you should be excited about this. The description, the visuals, everything are on point. And yeah, sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. So that's this video. Hope you're excited. Looking forward to these future class changes. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.